Hello everyone, my name is June and welcome to the New Watchmaker channel. Today we have a watch that I found, I bought from Berlin flea market. I sometimes go to flea market to buy watches, and this one caught my eye. Not because of its look or anything, its condition, but because of its brand. It's called Glycine or Glycine. I know this brand through another watch, famous watch, that is a pilot watch, that is known for the very first GMT watch in watch history, in modern watch history. So yeah, I've known this brand, and when I saw this watch, I asked how much it was, and the seller said 15 euros, and it's not running. So I said, why not just give it a shot and let's try to restore it. And upon opening the watch, I realized obviously the hands are rusted. And now I'm removing the hands. As you can see, it looks not so good, because this means some moisture was trapped inside the watch, and it rusted some metal on the hands, which means that there could be further damage in the movement. Now I am removing the dial, and there are two dial pins or dial screws on the side. All I have to do is just unscrew that and it comes off easily. Looking at the dial, it's not in a good condition at all. There is some drag mark, maybe from the hour hand, so it has been scratched a little bit. So yeah, it's not so great, but I think it'll be better once it's done. I just removed the cannon pinion and put it in the rust solution, so that after a few hours when I take it out, hopefully it'll be cleaner. And the balance wheel comes off now, and it seemed like it was swinging a little bit, so I don't assume for now the balance wheel is damaged, which is a good start. And here I see it says ST1686, and this is called standard 1686 movement, and the base caliber is AS1686, which means that basically this is an AS movement or a shield movement, which it was a progenitor of Eterna, which is quite well known watchmaker company, and which became actually the ETA as we know today. So yeah, I guess this watch movement has some history, obviously, and it might be a reliable movement, knowing that it basically is a grandfather of ETA that we know today. Oops. Yeah, I forgot to unwind the mainspring. That's why it sprung like that, but nothing was damaged, fortunately. Okay, now I'm removing the mainspring ratchet wheel and barrel wheel, as you can see. And actually the movement looks quite okay. The parts, there's no obvious like damage that I can observe off the bat. So I'm just going to disassemble the watch and clean, and hopefully this watch will run again. Okay, so I just removed the barrel wheel and it seems okay. Yeah, and this is one of the basic watches that I have disassembled quite a few times. I mean, not exactly its movement, but after disassembling 20 or 30 watches of just a normal basic movement without any other complications, I can sort of understand how what each parts do. Here is the pallet fork that comes out, and yeah, and I will clean the parts now within the ultrasonic cleaner. I'm fast forwarding all these steps so you don't have to see entire steps. So
a few moments later.
Parts are now clean. I'm just putting the barrel back in and escapement wheel, oiling the hour wheel, and the bridge goes in to hold the hour wheel and the escapement wheel, and the barrel bridge as well. Yes, the barrel wheel goes in. And everything is quite straightforward, and I don't really force any problems with this watch running again. Yeah, so the Glycine watch company or Swiss watchmaker was founded in 1914 in Biel, Switzerland, and it was the first company that released the first mass-produced automatic watches. If you think about it, that's pretty wild. In 1930, this was the very first company that mass-produced automatic watches. Nowadays, there are so many different companies that makes automatic watches, but this was the very first one. So it's a pretty important history, I guess, in horology. And also, Glycine Airman is the name of the watch that was capable of tracking 2 24-hour time zones, which is basically a GMT. So it was also the company that made first GMT. And yeah, it was used by United States Air Force pilots during Vietnam War, later days, and also known astronaut Pete Conrad used the watch during the Gemini 5 and Gemini 11 space flights. So yeah, so it's this pretty famous brand, I believe. Nowadays, I don't really hear this company a lot, but yeah, it was a pretty well-known company back then, watchmaker back then. So it was founded by Eugene Meillan, who was born in 1891. He was a gifted watchmaker, and he also, as I have mentioned earlier, developed his own automatic watch design. And tragically, he was murdered by his apprentice, actually. In 1955, he was punched and stoned to death, basically, by his mechanical apprentice called Edward Glatz, mechanic apprentice. And just unbelievably, this apprentice was found guilty of murder and was sentenced for only 5 months in prison. So I can't really imagine how the laws were back then. You kill a person and you only get 5 months in prison. So it's pretty wild, I think. Yeah, anyhow, so I am now oiling. I believe these are cap jewels or jewel caps. I am not so sure. Here I am basically oiling the Inca blocks, and I have reassembled the watch. And I am seeing the watch is now, I mean, the balance wheel is moving, so watch is running, but it's very it's very weak how the balance wheel moves. And I found out that the palette fork, I mean, it shouldn't be wiggling like that, up and down. So I looked it up and then with a microscope and realized the axle is broken on one side. So I went back to eBay and then ordered a new one. And here it is after 3 days. As you can see on the left side, that's the new one. And then on the right side, the old palette fork. Now the new one has been put in and now it's working properly. So this should fix the really weak amplitude, and it wasn't really running well before, so let's check. Now this is the balance wheel going back in. And I have to wind it, as you can see. And the balance wheel seems to be moving a lot faster and a lot more, which means more amplitude. It looks better, definitely, than before. And after oiling, I am now locking the Inca block, the jewels. And here are the hands. First, the hour hand. And just push it down gently to install it. And the second one would be the minute hand. Again, push it gently to install. And the last is the second hand. And I had a problem actually grabbing this glass with this glass lifter. As you can see on the side, it's angled. So this cloth cannot actually grab the glass and compress to make the diameter of the glass slightly shorter. And this is the glass basically installation tool that I have, and this is a more expensive one. If you are going to buy one that you will use, I recommend the more expensive one, because this is really just really bad quality. But after researching some other tools, I realized that I can do this. Basically use a narrower adapter in the bottom, and the adapter that fits the glass just right. And if I press it down, then it basically compresses the glass and then makes the diameter slightly narrower. And while it's being compressed, I can just slip the case into the basically glass, and it worked somehow. So yeah, so I succeeded there, and I learned something new today, that I can use a very cheap AliExpress glass installer too. Okay, now I am looking at the time grapher, and it looks so much better than before. Bit error is acceptable, 0.7 millisecond, and the amplitude is, yes, a little bit weak, but it's acceptable. And I flipped it, and look at that. That's perfect. 0.6 millisecond, and is a few seconds. There's only a few seconds deviation per day. So I only bought it for 15 euros, and I spent extra 10 euros plus shipping for the part. So probably around 30 euros for this watch, plus the strap. And it's working amazingly. Like, only a few seconds off a day. So I think it was definitely worth it. And I learned something new installing the glass for this watch. It was a very good practice, and I enjoyed it. I hope it was informative, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks, and see you in the next one.